Hi. Yes, living in its glory. I'm in a new city. I'm staying with some friends who were super kind to offer me a place to just my buffering state. And in the meantime, because it's my Thursday and I like to drop videos this day, I want to go through dissecting my birth chart. We will start with the sun sign. So I'm a Leo. And you know what's really interesting? Growing up and everything, until I moved to this new city, everyone who's ever known me was like, you don't match Leo qualities and all that. And I was like, you know what? I did not match any Leo qualities like growing up, because Leos like are stereotypically bold, confident leaders, and I was complete opposite. I was timid, I was shy. I was like, there was no way I can be a leader if I'm like this. But coming into like my healing and coming into like my power, I can proudly say I stand in these Leo qualities. I'm pretty prideful of them, as a Leo would be, you know. And a lot of our rep goes to just being like conceited, arrogant, egotistic. And you know what? In shadow versions, yes, those traits will definitely come out. They will definitely come out, because what our backing is pride. We own the power that we have. There's a lot of Leos who literally will come into something that they know, and then they'll be like, this is my shit, this is it. And the confidence is in it because we have the power of the sun. Like, we are the only ones ruled by the sun, and look at how much energy there is, you know. And look at all the Leos in your lives. They bring light to you some way or another, light or energy of any kind. And you know, each sign has their bad qualities, you know, bad and traits. But I find that the bad qualities only are when you're in your shadow side. And if people are in their shadow side, they're only gonna see the shadow version, because that's all they know, you know. So because I can think a lot of people think right now, oh, look at her, she's so conceited, look at her, she thinks she's a shit. Yeah, because I literally worked for it though. I worked to get here. No one truly knows all the things I've done behind the scenes to become who I am right now, to become and stand proudly in this lioness energy. Like, I love it. And also with Leos, and not to really sound like this, but we just carry that regal air. That's why we stand tall in this. Also, to add, like, Leos are natural born leaders in one way or another. So if we are naturally born to be high up in this energy, of course we're gonna need all this stuff. Because my journey specifically, I am my own best friend. I had no one rooting for me to tell me that anyways. I didn't have anyone to like support me through this whole thing. I literally brought myself here to myself. So yes, I am gonna stand proudly and be like, fuck yeah, I'm the shit. Along with being a fire sign, Leos do have that gift of just having that drive, that go-getter energy. Like, we like to do, for sure. Like, we are really hard workers. We truly are. We're loyal, we're easygoing, and we make such team players. And at the end of the day, all of that goodness. And we're intense. We're just so intense. But like, don't get us wrong, us Leos, when it's time to rest, we rest. Just truly think about a lion out in the wilderness. Like, we are fierce. We have power. We carry that like BD everywhere. But when we're tired, we're tired. Like, I can do that all day. If I commit to it, if I knew I did 6 days, I will spend literally the whole 24 hours not moving from my bed at all. Like, maybe to use the washroom, I guess. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into like my sun in Leo, because it's just like, I don't want to say it's stereotypical, because it is truly like what you come into, like, as what the energy you bring into the world. So that part is definitely important. But I want to get into the more like other things. So my moon is in Scorpio, and what that really entails is there's a lot of people who would find like security in material things type of thing, but like Scorpios will seek out like emotional depth, intensity. They want to literally know why, like all the time. Because of this, and it's written in the stars, any Scorpio moons have deep transformation within their lives constantly, because Scorpios in general is a sign of transformation, is a sign of taboo, is a sign of dark. So to be a sign of all those things, transformation is going to constantly occur, because in a world of just light, there's a Scorpio just kind of trying to fit in this sense. Scorpio moons also seek out like experiences all the time, especially intense ones. Like honestly, intensity is literally like the second name of Scorpios, because Scorpio moons, I should say, specifically because the emotions like that come with it. But once there's a lot of self-awareness and acceptance that this is just how we like to do things, like always wanting so much more deep into everything, this is what fuels us. Depth fuels us. And what I've gathered is, and this is why a lot of my relationships haven't worked out, because your moon is your connectivity with other people. And so if I find that there's no depth within our relationship, if there's nothing for me to talk to you about, if there's nothing for me to get to know you about because you don't want to open up or anything like that, then for me, I would find there is nothing more that we could go on, because I want to keep trying to get to know you. You know, if you're gonna be in my life, like I want to constantly know your transformation. Ding, I just realized I do that. This is also why I encourage change within other people, I think, because I'm always changing. My version of what you knew me last year, oh, you don't know me next year. That is guaranteed. That is guaranteed. So to be in my circle is to be kind of doing the same thing. Another thing that's deeply rooted within Scorpio moons is that because we know so much dark, our default is we really don't want betrayal in our lives. So if we find any hint of it, like, you're out. I think that's another reason why I'm quick to cut people, because as soon as I know you don't have good intentions for me, like, why would I want you in my life? What? So, and I know this because also we have strong intuition. We're a water sign. Water signs have strong intuition. Is because we don't want to be betrayed. Subconsciously, we will put our partners through tests, like just to make sure they won't leave. Like, it's not like we're waiting for it to end. Like, we're not hoping for it to end, but we're just like, we know there's an end to things. We're kind of just already accepting it now. So it's kind of like that. Like, if you want to be in a Scorpio moon's life, prove it in a way. Prove it to them that you'll stay, because all they know growing up is betrayal. That is how we come into our story. We just get betrayed constantly. So if you want to be in there, gotta show it. And you just need to understand that, like, you're not doing all this work for nothing. Like, we will understand you like no other. All your darkness, we understand, we get it. All your current taboo things, we'll understand it, we'll get it, we'll accept it. So it's kind of like, for us, know where you're getting into emotionally, be prepared. I've had so many people be like, how did you know that? Like, that's weird. Are you reading my mind? Yes, I am. Like, along with like just my psychic background, having Scorpio moon is just the icing on top, you know? Like, my intuition has saved me from a lot of things once I accepted my path, once I came into my healing. Like, I'd say we are one of the better signs that can truly understand the human nature down to its core. That's why we have a different understanding of a lot. Like, I understand exactly everything that has happened to me down to this very minute. and why? Because I've sought out that information and I can read it in other people as well. I can actually have a conversation with you and understand why you became the way you are right now. The hard thing about me is that even though I still know all these things, it's so hard for me to let go of things. I know my cutoff game seems very fast and strong, but deep down, I knew I needed to let it go for a very long time. So imagine that. And in the ways that Scorpios take pleasure, wherever they do find to seek pleasure, which is mostly in the taboo areas, we can get lost in that. You can get truly lost in that. And you know, my career coming into the way it is also not a surprise. You know, having an OF and just like owning my sexuality very proudly, Scorpio. Mercury, next planet. Mercury is the planet of communication, logic, stuff like that. And my Mercury is in Leo. I like to know things right away. I like to get to the bottom line. I'm really good at scoping out like information. I love problem solving. Like I just like getting to information really quick and fast. This, still being in Leo, like we still have that friendly air, that positive spark, and really charming. So that adds to my communication style as well. I'm an enthusiastic speaker. You know, we got power from the sun, so I like to speak with authority and just sincerity too, because everything I say I genuinely mean, but I want it to hold power. I know that the things I say because of this has intensity to it, and you know, back then when I did used to speak up, I'd be like, was that too much? Oh, that was too much, that was too intense. But now every time I have an intended message with it comes with intended intensity. Still organized, we're still playful in our work. Like we're not strict in a sense of that. Like we have so much room for fun. Like if anyone knows me, I love getting my shit done, but I love having a smile to it. I love adding like, we can do this, guys, and we're doing like really hard shit. Like everyone's like, shut up, and I'm the person that's like, let's fucking go. Like that's Mercury and Leo. Yeah. Venus, your Venus is in Gemini. So your Venus, the planet of love, it's also like represents like the emotional side, but more of an interest for another, how I exchange, what I like in the bedroom, what kind of ebb and flow I like from my partner. It's in Gemini. The first air sign I get to talk about within myself, and it's so interesting because a quality I love about Geminis is the fact that every Gemini I have met, I can talk endlessly with forever. Like I love that about us. And what I like is that I will use that, I guess, in my flirting. So I guess to know if I'm flirting with you is if I'm constantly talking to you and just kind of showing you like what I know, wanting to know what you know. That's my way of flirting. Relationships that feel too comfy aren't for Venus Geminis, because we need that constant like stimulation of newness, differentness. And it's not to say that it's always going to have to be new partners and new things, but you know what I find is that coming into like my healing and all that, like I feel like we're gonna have constant like things to be newness and all that to experience, because now we have nothing holding us back, whoever my partner and I will be. Great way to be with someone who has a Venus in Gemini is to honestly support their need for fun and support their need for change and variety, showing actual genuine interest in what they're interested in, because what they're interested in, you know, their interests change often. So like if you want to ask them about it, of course, you know, genuinely, I truly want to feel that embrace, like about my interests, like so deeply. I kind of feel like I've never gotten that before, and I just really want, you know, I'm just gonna say I truly never had that like fighting for me, wanting to get to know me so deeply, wanting to know everything about me. I've never had that kind of like experience before. And I think this is why it's taking me, I'm getting a little bit picky about it, because I want someone who's actually as interested in me as I am gonna be crazily interested in them. And with Venus and Geminis too, like, we love space as well. So like, of course, if we're living together, that's gonna be all right, but you know, spending time separate, like with friends and family, that is a big priority for me. Like, I do not need to be like clinging onto you all the time, trust me. Like, but when I'm with you, oh, you're definitely the only person in the room ever. But when I'm out, like, I just want to be out, you know? Just gotta be out. It's not like I will never forget about you, but I need my space to fly. Mars, and my Mars is in Cancer. Mars is the planet of like action, like the desire for it, and physical energy. Best offense is defense. That's usually how I would come into wanting to do any type of confrontation. Like, I know I do seem confrontational, but it really takes some hesitancy truly before I'm honestly like quick to my flame, because like I can lean towards some like passive aggressiveness sometimes in some situations whenever I have to really do things. More passive about it, it's just more lax. Like, I just don't take it as like intense when I have to really do things. That's why it seems like I do things really slow and steady. It's because of that like Cancer energy. Like, I feel like I can take my time doing things. And a lot of people think that because I work so slowly that like my flame isn't intense, but that's where you gotta get me wrong, you know? That's why you gotta know my whole chart. But we have like a protective need towards ourselves and the things we do. We carry a therapeutic way whenever you talk to us. That's also our intention. Like, a lot of our intentions is because we care. Like, that's the end of the day. And people with a Cancer and Mars, we don't like people who are indifferent. Like, people who are very meh, whatever, like, choose a spectrum for us kind of thing, because we don't got time to keep feeling out your emotions to knowing your actions to things. Like, know what you're doing type of thing is what we like about us. And in this, we can be argumentative because we don't like that meh energy when we talk. My energy level in my confrontation ways and argumentative behaviors would be like variable. It depends. It truly depends on what gets brought out of me, what triggers or anything like that. But yeah, being Mars and Cancer, I display my emotions. Like, I will show, like, I feel like a lot of y'all know, like, I don't hide my emotions. I guess I can't because I'm planets. But once you truly make us feel safe enough in your energy, we will be great friends for you in the long haul, because we, first of all, we like to handle situations like peacefully and humanely. Like, there will never be a time where I want to attack you in the things that I do. If I ever bring anything up to you, it's because I truly want us to continue a relationship. And 100% of the time, I actually do approach people really calmly to talk about change. There is actually a rare time where I've ever been like, you need to fucking change, first thing to say. Like, if I ever get to that point, that's my Leo coming out, and I'm just frustrated with you at this point because my Cancer is just out of patience now. Jupiter! My Jupiter is in Capricorn, and Jupiter represents expansion, grace, and luck and stuff like that. It's a really fun planet. It's kind of like an energy that you attract type of thing too. So my energy in Capricorn, I attract my fortune type of thing when I'm organizing, when I'm directing, when I'm doing things for myself, when I'm literally the one in charge of my own life, is when I'm allowing all these great things to come in, because Capricorns are also leaders in this world. We like to act with integrity, maturity, ethical. We just like to stand in our power, and stand in our power whatever we're doing. People with their Jupiter in Capricorn value long term. So anything that you're working towards, like achievement wise, even being responsible of, manifestation wise, long term, because that's our stability, is what we're working towards is going to be towards the long term. Like, we don't want any of this fast satisfaction thing. Like, it does not appease us at all. In this, we are very resourceful, and we definitely avoid activities that like feel like it's just wasting time, energy, or resources. Like, if we're not about it, we're not about it. We like to streamline. Like, as soon as my eyes set on something, like I'm like, yep. And it doesn't help that like a lot of my chart is also fixed sign energy, so it's really hard to change my mind about anything. Into knowing about my planets, I did not know this is a value part of my chart, having position or status being important to me, because when you correlate that when you're younger, you have seen people who are in power and use it and abuse it, and you're like, that's a shame, you know. And you rarely see the good people in power, and then you get inspired by it. But you know what, like, now that we're coming into this new world and everything, I am so proud to say, yes, I value position and status, because I know what exactly I'm going to do with it. Just amazingly great things. So Saturn is kind of like the planet of like effort and contraction, like things that could be more challenging for you. And that sign for me is an Aries, because Aries is the biggest sign of me type of energy. Self-consciousness is like our issue growing up. Like, we need to learn to get out of that, because self-confidence is what we must work towards, because between that, our self-talk can get really mean. It can get really harsh, because we push ourselves. Like, we just can't help how much we can push ourselves, and if we're just truly not there, that self-talk is crazy. So self-confidence is important to come into. Because of that me first attitude, like, I understand that like my approach to things does come self-serving, but you know what, through everything in my life, I don't even mind having that sense of me in a little bit. But just kind of like, I think of Saturn as well as like the planet of like the energy when you don't get your way. So that being an Aries, and just like yeah, me quick to temper, me being like quick to cut, just like wanting to just quick everything and just like make sure I'm good. Like, I understand where that energy is coming from. Uranus, in a really basic sense, kind of represents freedom, and my Uranus is in Aquarius, and what that usually kind of means is whenever we get initially excited about something, we would find that like the most interesting thing ever. And this is where I feel like it peaks into like my ADHD, not gonna lie. I'm just like, newness, I like to know everything about it first thing. Okay. In this kind of like flightiness, we appreciate like our independence a lot. That's where we would be in our most freedom energy, knowing we're independent, and not ever feeling like tied down in any way. That's why I think I don't like systematic oppression, and that's why I speak against it a lot. So all that like administrative things that we have to do to get by, I'm like, I don't understand it. Just do. This gives me issues. This brings me the most issues, because I'm just like, these are all great ideas, let's enforce them right now. But I have to know that we're still running in a like systematic thing. Neptune is next, and Neptune is your connection with like the psychic realm, spirituality, and all those things. And my Neptune is in Capricorn. What that means is I'm very discerning, wise, but gentle. And in all my successions, it's honestly thanks to my bright and odd ideas that come from just my connection with my spirit team and everything. I have such what's that word called? Non-conforming thoughts, just out of the box like things that I want to do, and things I want to see in the world, and I like it. People with their Neptune in Capricorn from birth are just going to be very, very heavily influenced by the mother figure, or just kind of like that kind of a motherly figure. And what I would say about that is that I can definitely say my mom and grandma have influenced the way I have thought until I healed, because now I can definitely say I don't know if I share the same ideas as them. Pluto. My Pluto is in Sagittarius, and what that means is my great aspirations coincide with sexuality and love. Like, those two are my main forefronts, and I can definitely say that's exactly what I agree with. Like, my transformations, because Pluto is the planet of transformation, all that, like what you come into is like the desires you want into the world, and sexuality and love are my top two, and I think that's hilarious because it's just so taboo. Your Lilith. So your Lilith is like what was repressed of you when you were younger, and my Lilith is in Leo, and what that means is like I would now feel wrong for calling attention to myself, for seeking the spotlight, for like wanting to be better than others in any kind of way, because when I was younger, like all of that was dimmed down all the time. Like I was never just been cheered on ever growing up in anything that I was doing. So now, like now that I'm kind of in the complete opposite situation, something that's coming hard to come to terms with is accepting everyone's kind of praise and all, because even till now, like it's still hard for me to get within the people in my life genuinely. Like I get like the support, everything online, and I think that's just adding to my character story by now. But before, like also having your Lilith and Leo, like anytime I saw anyone showing like those Leo traits, like I would be jealous. Like if there was anything I was actually jealous of, it was actually seeing people be who I wanted to be, like on the inside. And once people with their Lilith and Leo come into their own, finding exactly what they want to do and get the praise out of it, I think that's when like they can fully come out of their shadow within their Lilith. And I think that's what's happening with me currently. It's really nice. So ultimately, my rising sign, or what is called is your true north node, is in Libra. And what that means is like your south node would represent like your overdeveloped traits. So your south node is what is my south node? Actually, I don't know, but it's like overdeveloped traits that you kind of would grow out of eventually. But like it's just the way that you're comfy with, and I can't figure out the sign for me. But with north nodes, it points to the qualities that we need to work on and develop to achieve that inner balance and fulfillment, like that your true soul purpose feeling, where you're like, oh my god, this is why I wake up every day type of feeling. And that sign for me is in Libra. And what that brings me into is that my path is learning to cooperate, learning to delegate and share with others. But my like troubles would be that I would rely on myself too much, and I am relying on myself too much currently. Like that's where I feel like all my power is right now. So something I'm truly going into learning now is going into my north node. So allowing all the help to come to me, allowing people to just be there for me, because I wasn't used to it, but now I'm trying to get used to it. I must learn patience. I must lose some fear over losing my independence, trying to be cooperative with others. I think that's my hardest like I guess that goes against like the whole Leo and Libra thing. So my whole Leo thing is like going into my oneness, leadership, power, and then my Libra North Node is just like, okay, but there's also people type of thing. So feedback I need to learn to listen to. I know sometimes my Leoness is just like, nope, but my Libra is like, just listen. Other people have things you don't know. And then I'm seeing here that constantly self-justifying will stunt my growth, and I think that's whenever I have those like really burnout moments when I'm just like, fuck, I'm doing everything by myself, I'm doing it on my own, I see no help from no one, and I just get so tired and I just like, and I think that's when my growth is like, okay, that's your next lesson. Yeah, but that's my little dissection of my chart. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helped figure out why I am the way I am. Kind of helped clarify a little bit for me. Thank you for watching another video.